a little pocket of sunlight. So I thought, what better thing to do than to explain a little bit about what I used to do when I came here, photography-wise, in terms of models and things like that. So, because of where we are in the East Midlands, there's just so much scenery, greenery, this kind of like rural thing. I used to have to just, like, this isn't a public path, as you can probably imagine. This is like fully in the undergrowth, but I needed to get this shot. And even with filming like this, thinking of like the shots and stuff. But when I used to bring models to a location, I mean, I had so many different elements to consider. Like, if I was bringing a model to a location right now, in winter, I'm obviously having to use items that are going to keep them warm. And sometimes it's difficult to balance the stylistic approach of keeping a model satisfied with what you actually want to shoot. And that's something that I always favoured in myself, or something that I would have given a lot of value to of what I did, is that I always wanted to make sure that the models were always sweet and always happy, because my logic is, if a model is happy, then the shots are going to look better, I'm going to have a better relationship photographing them, and in turn the clothing will be more sellable as a result of them being happier. But using models was, I mean, I've came from a creative background doing media production at university. I've had a camera before I went to university, and like working with models was definitely a fun element. I know a lot of people might have stuck to just using flat lays and working with things like that. And if I'm being honest, I totally understand that people don't always use models because of the financial side of things. It costs money to hire people, and that it's simplified by not using models. Whereas I think models have a great purpose, and I think I really want to start delving into a lot more in depth over the time with talking about models. But models to me were one of the main reasons why I continued doing Gully for as long as I did. Because my underlying ethos at the beginning was find cool clothes, find even cooler models. And it was like this marrying of two sick things together. And this is really early in the time of modelling, way before things like TikTok had such an impression now, to a point where in the modelling industry, if you don't have 50,000 followers on TikTok and you're not an influencer already, then it's going to be a lot more difficult for you to get traction, because it's not just about how you look. Being a model, though, is like such a complex topic, and I know so much about it from being curious by it and learning through the way that I sourced models, through starting up my own modelling agency for a period of time and scouting models and holding castings and things. I've always had like a specific eye of the type of person I've liked, like the kind of aesthetic I've thought worked for what I was doing with the clothing, in terms of like secondhand and vintage stuff. But just while we're here, in a place where I used to shoot lots of models, it's one of the big perks of doing this sort of work. I'm going to be honest with you. You get to work with people who, as long as they're nice people, I mean, the modelling one is such a complex one. In time, I'm going to get an interview or a podcast with some of the models and talk about what things used to be like. But it, for me, was one of the main reasons why I was still driven by selling clothing, because I got to engage with people that looked cool. I got to learn what sort of person I actually like through the models. I've worked, and I'm sorry to say this to anybody who might not think this about me, but like, I've worked with people who really didn't leave a good impression on me. People that were just very much that model stereotype through certain agencies and through certain disciplines that maybe they've not been taught with their agencies. But my thing I learned the most was by casting people and hosting people through Instagram of people I wanted to actually have as models. Meant that people that came to, like, for a model opportunity were already interested in the brand. This is just, I know this is like, I've almost like put the model topic in a blender and I've just like turned it on full blast, and I'm like being a bit erratic, but I was just leaving and I've just finished another video that you'll probably see, and I was just thinking, I really want to like just have a moment to think about models, because this is somewhere where we used to come, and one of many spots, obviously. Again, shooting models for a brand means you have to keep things pretty exciting and constantly changing. But I think that if I didn't use models for Gully at the time, the brand would have been a lot different. And if you're somebody who's on the fence whether you think using models is a good like next step for you or anything like that, the best thing to do is to find some friends who are good looking enough, or in your eyes, good looking enough for the clothes that you're selling, and try it out. I would say, as a rule of thumb, even if you're looking to do a brand and you don't want to use models for the actual product photography, I would really recommend trying editorials with people, because if you build a sense of a brand through using models, people then feel like they will become a part of something by buying into your brand. Or even if it's a Depop store or something as small scale as that, just creating something through your Instagram, your social networks, where you give that sense that you are a brand and it's a lifestyle, or it's whatever you want it to be. For me, I went through lots of stages. I used to find some of the coolest, sharpest looking models that you've ever seen, and some of them have gone on to be in films, gone on to shoot with actual Ralph Lauren, and like, honestly, some of them are crazy. But then I had a pivot where I realized that I didn't want to use people who were just the best looking people, and I wanted to use people who were people, and those that I could stand in a room and shoot 100, 200, 300 items with for a few hours. And over the time of this channel, I'm definitely going to have sit-downs with quite a few of them and get to talk about their experience with modelling, their experience with shooting at Gully, and yeah, we'll just have a conversation about advice, and hopefully it's of use to people, of use to you people even, should I say. But yeah, hopefully this video came across all nicely and not too blended, as in like whisked up and everything. Yeah, I'm getting cold now, so I'm gonna go. So this is the place. It's called the Outwoods in Loughborough, and it's honestly such a nice area. Really, really nice place. It's just super woodland. I mean, look, I've just come from in there. This is the modelling video, I'm assuming. I've just come from in there, just caught that little bit of sun before I leave. And yeah, honestly, come to nature a little bit more. It does you the world of good.